Hey guys, Chris back out here at Toons Eufaula, bringing you a quick dive-in style video on how to properly break in and maintain your brand new Yamaha motor that you would have gotten from us on a brand new Express. Here to help me answer some of these questions and lend me some knowledge is Yamaha Master Tech Ernie over here. So Ernie, my first question for you, what does the proper break-in procedure look like on one of these brand new Yamaha motors?
Yeah, so the break-in procedure for a Yamaha engine is it's a simple process, but it's a really important process. So we want to break the engine in. That way we can, give it the best chance of providing us the longest longevity, longest lifespan, and that we get the performance we expect out of the engine. So that's the primary reason why we want to break this in accordance with what Yamaha recommends. But to break it in, for the first hour, you want to stay under 2,000 RPM, just varying speed. And like I said, so for most people, that is them figuring out the boat anyway. They're flipping switches, they're playing with stuff, just trying to learn the boat.
Yeah.
The next hour, you are going to get the boat up on plane. So where it starts to break over, gets up on top of the water, and you feel it kind of want to take off. Then you're going to back off, and you do that over for about an hour and just vary RPM. And then after that, you are going to run the engine and the boat however you would like. But you want to avoid wide open throttle, and you do not want to stay in any one RPM range longer than about 3 to 5 minutes at a time. And they don't have to be big adjustments. They could be 200 RPM adjustments. So you're not throwing everybody all over the boat. But it is important to kind of break it in evenly through all the RPM ranges. Once you get to 10 hours, you're going to run this engine for 10 more hours. And you're going to run it just like you would the rest of its life. And at 20 hours, we want to do the break-in service. You can bring it into us, or you can technically do it yourself.
Okay. And so when we hit that 20-hour mark for that first break-in service, and you bring it into our shop out here at Toons, what does that first break-in period service encompass? Yeah,
so the break-in service, there's a lot of things going on if you're doing it right, especially as a Yamaha tech. You're hooking it to the computer, you're making sure that all the values that you have, all the sensors, all the outputs, everything is still within factory specification. You're gonna grease it up. We obviously want to change all the fluids. There's a lot of break-in particulate that's floating around, a lot of fine metals, little things like that are going to happen in the break-in process. We want to get that out. So we want to drain the gear oil. We want to drain the engine oil. We're going to obviously inspect everything. Like I said, we're going to hook the computer to it. We're going to grease everything, visual inspection of the boat and the engine, pull the prop off. Make sure there's no fishing string, anything weird in there. Grease that shaft back up as well. Afterwards, we can give you a product that should last you thousands of hours, years of use.
Awesome, awesome. And so after that first initial break-in period, that 20-hour mark, what's the next scheduled maintenance that Yamaha suggests you do? Like, what's the time frame look like on that?
Yeah. So after the initial service, Yamaha recommends that you service the engine either 1 year or every 100 hours. And in that service, it's going to be very similar to a 20-hour service. There are some caveats based off of how many hours you have on the motor. But, the big meat and potatoes of each service is getting the fluids, doing the inspections, greasing everything back up, things like that. But to answer your question, every 1 year or 100 hours.
Okay, whichever comes first.
Whichever comes first, yeah.
Okay. And so say somebody that purchased one of these boats with a new Yamaha on it, like this Express right here, they had the know-how, the tools, everything to do it at home for that, next service at the 100-hour or 1 year mark. Mm-hmm. What's the recommended oil that Yamaha recommends to use in their motors?
So the oil Yamaha recommends to use in a Yamaha product is obviously Yamalube. It was designed by Yamaha for Yamaha products.
Makes sense.
There are a couple different weights, but the primary weights that we're going to use here in the Midwest, where we're at in Oklahoma, is going to be the 5W30 synthetic and then the 10W30 conventional. The synthetic oil was designed for higher output situations and more of an extreme condition. So it's going to give you some added additives, and along with it's a conventional oil, so it's just designed for a little more higher output, higher horsepower situations, where the conventional oil does everything you need, but it's just designed for your recreational usage. So, you know, if you've got a bass boat and you're going 6,000 RPM everywhere you're going, then you know you're going to want to run some synthetic oil in it. If you've got a tri-tune that you guys take out 4 or 5 times a year, there's no need to really run the synthetic, even though you could. You just no added benefit whatsoever. It's just going to cost you more money in maintenance. So I would recommend that you just run the 1030, and vice versa on this particular motor. So if just because it's a show motor doesn't mean we have to run the full synthetic 5W30. It's all based off of usage. You know, how do you use your boat, and in what environment do you use your boat? Kind of dictates what oil we're going to recommend. Just some cost savings there potentially.
Now, is there a third party? Like, can you use a different type of brand of oil?
Yeah, and stay under warranty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can. There are a number of aftermarket oil companies, but the biggest thing that you want to keep in mind is that it is an FCW NMEA certified oil, right? It's a marine grade oil. There's a big difference between a marine grade oil and an automotive oil. We get asked it quite a bit. The biggest thing is temperature wise. So your car is designed to run around 210 degrees. Most outboards are not. They're around 160, maybe a little higher than that, depending, you know, on the situation. But so if you run an automotive oil in an outboard, you're not actually getting it to the right temperature to even activate the additives, unless it's overheating, in which case, you know, it's not a great deal. Yeah, not a great deal. So, you know, using a marine grade oil is, you know, step one. Now, like I said, we're going to recommend, Yamaha's going to recommend you use their product, but there are a lot of aftermarket companies out there. I know AMSOIL makes another one. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it meets the specifications, right? It has the right anti-foaming, the additives activate at the right temperatures. It has the water repellent qualities to it, because we're in you know, one of the harshest environments in the world, which is water, especially if you're on salt water. You know, it's just so corrosive. So step one, you know, keeping a product working the way that you want it to work, like how it came out of the crate, is just using the right stuff.
Yeah. And so, speaking of using the right stuff, when it comes to fuel, with the way today's gas is set up and how it is, you know, say, you know, I just bought this boat. It's my first time, never owned a boat before. I'm taking it out. I stop at the gas station before I go out on a lake.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any specific type of gas, any specific octane rating, like 87 versus 91, 100% versus ethanol? Like what should be used?
Yamaha is going to recommend for the majority of all their product is going to be 89 octane, kind of right in the middle-ish. You can run a little bit of ethanol. Technically, Yamahas will accept that, but you want as little to no ethanol as possible. Little to no ethanol. You don't really want to run an 87 octane unless you absolutely have to. It creates a large amount of carbon. You're going to have to decarbon the engine more. It's going to foul plugs. It's just going to have a lack of performance. Just generally cost you more to maintain, and you're usually not as happy with the performance you're getting out of the engine. 91 also, which sounds a little counterintuitive, but 91 also does some of the same things, because you do want some carbon. Carbon is good at seating rings. It's good at seating valves. It's good at finding those small imperfections that are going to exist in any engine. You just don't want it in excess. Yeah. You don't want it too clean as well. Mm-hmm. So 89 octane, as little to no ethanol as you can get would be the answer.
Okay. And do they recommend using fuel stabilizer kind of on a consistent basis, or?
Yeah, so fuel stabilizer and conditioner like this Yamalube product right here, and there are tons of them on the market. Anything is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, obviously we're going to recommend the Yamalube product, but at the end of the day, anything is better than not running anything at all. So in this case, this is going to be mixed 3 to 1, right? So 3 gallons of fuel to 1 ounce. So for most of your customers, that 1 jug is going to last you the entire year.
Yeah.
And they're relatively inexpensive. I think you can get that entire 32-ounce bottle for less than $50. So a $50 investment potentially is going to save you from thousands of dollars later down the line.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody knows what BOAT stands for. So
yeah. You got to break out that.
1,000.
Yep, yeah.
So $50 product, going to save you a lot of headache down the road. So yes, I would recommend that you run that year round.
Okay. And when it comes to coming to the off season, you're storing your boat, what does the winterization process look like for one of these outboards?
So it's not really considered winterization, right? Mm-hmm. So outboards is extended storage. Yeah. Winterization is an older term, primarily used for inboards, stern drives. There may be some things on the boat that needs to be winterized, but winterizing an outboard engine doesn't really exist. There may be some extreme conditions of it, but it doesn't really exist. It's considered long storage. So to answer your question, what we want to do is obviously we want to flush the engine. We want to change all the fluids. So the engine oil, the gear oil. We want to treat the fuel, both in the tank and what's in the motor. And we want to prepare our battery for storage, whether it be on a tender, whatever method you have or want to use. The main reason we want to change the gear oil is because you could have hit a stump, you could have hit a sandbar, you could have picked up some fishing line with some damaged seals, whatever the case may be. You don't want to neglect draining and filling that gear case just because you think it's good. You put it out in 10-degree weather. Next year, you come out after the thaw and you realize my gear case is busted. There was water in it. Now you're dealing with insurance, or you're frustrated because you have to buy a gear case that costs thousands of dollars usually, especially if you're buying an OEM.
Yeah, definitely. And when you go to flush out the motor, if they're doing this at home, what does that process look like to flush a Yamaha?
Yeah, so on this Yamaha engine, you see you have a hose adapter here on the port side. You're going to unscrew it, screw it onto a garden hose. You're going to turn the water on first, but you don't want to turn it on full blast. You want to turn it on about a quarter of the way. And then you're looking for adequate flow. And what I mean by adequate flow is down at the propeller is the exhaust, right? The exhaust goes through propeller. And then on the starboard side of the engine, you have a telltale, which is a little stream of water that spews out. So I want to just slowly, incrementally turn up the water until I see good flow coming out of the exhaust. Mm-hmm. And then I have a good flow of water out of the telltale. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to start and let it run for about 5 to 10 minutes. No throttle, just start and let it run 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So for fresh water, we are, that's gonna take care of everything you got.
Yeah, I got you. Well, Ernie, I only got one more question here for you before I let you go. And that final question is going to be, if you had 2 pieces of key advice to give a brand new boat and motor owner to ensure the longevity of that motor, what would those 2 key pieces of advice be?
So the 2 key pieces of advice. So if I was going to give advice to anybody, primarily has to do with some of the biggest issues that we see, right? The most frequently asked questions, the things that I probably work on, we see in the shop all the time. That's going to be fuel, right? Maintaining your fuel, make sure it's treated, both in the tank and the motor. You're running something like this Yamaha Fuel Stabilizer Conditioner Plus that lubricates the internal components, especially if you're one of those recreational guys that may only come down for a couple weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Fuel. I can't harp on that enough. It's probably the biggest thing that we work on in the shop is fuel.
Yeah.
We We repair more fuel-related issues than we do anything else, and it's easily preventable. Yeah. So I would say fuel, and then maintenance. I get calls once or twice a week from customers. You know, I did maintenance last year, right? I think I only put 20 hours on the engine. Do I have to do maintenance again? And the answer to that is yes. So just like your car, they're going to say 3,000 miles or 3 months, change the engine oil. The same thing kind of applies. It's just oil in general, right? It's a chemical component. There's chemical additives in it, sometimes some metal additives, and they're going to break down over time.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to change the fluids annually, once a year or 100 hours, whether you do it yourself or you bring it to us. Either way, you want to get that maintenance done. So if you do those two things, this engine's going to last you thousands of hours.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, that's all the questions I have for Ernie today. Ernie, thank you for giving us some of your knowledge and advice and answering some questions. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments or shoot us a call at 918-473-5055. Also, come see us at our brand new showroom that'll be opening up about a month from when this video drops. Come say hi. It's right off I-40 and Highway 150. Other than that, you guys like and subscribe, ring that notification bell to be notified anytime we post videos like this again, and we'll catch you in the next one.